Good morning, dear Dhamma brothers and sisters. It's good to see you on this day, also called Vesak Day, but we have termed it Buddha Day. Yeah, because we remember the enlightened, the unequaled, unparalleled enlightenment of the Buddha. Yeah, on this day. So if we can put our mind back to more than uh, the date on the Buddhist calendar is 2569. But the Buddha attained enlightenment before that. So we know, yeah, of the the location of the Buddha's enlightenment was in India, yeah, in Bodh Gaya, under the huge Bodhi tree, yeah, that grew there. But on at that time, before the Bodhisattva sat, yeah, under that tree, it was called the Pipal tree. Yeah, and then when the Buddha gained enlightenment, we call it now the Bodhi tree. So at that time, yeah, of more than 2,600 years morning, yeah, the morning of the full moon in the month of Vesak, yeah, this world, not just this world system, this part of the universe welcomed uh, uh, on the what we call the Vesak morning, a new Buddha. Yeah, before that there was no being called the Buddha. There were only worldlings, Putujana in this world. All there was no enlightened being. But when the new day dawned, yeah, the whole world, this world cycle, welcome a Buddha, fully enlightened Buddha. A Buddha who gained an enlightenment through his own efforts. Yeah, for this enlightenment, he had no teacher. So this is why we remember the Buddha, yeah, on this day. And the proper way to actually pay respect to the Buddha on the Buddha day is to practice his teaching. That is the best way. Though sometimes we as Buddhists, we as part of the Buddhist community, we make ourselves very busy, yeah, on the Buddha day, yeah, which is fine because we have so many things to do in order to prepare for this day. But in actual fact, we should practice our mindfulness, hold on to this beautiful mental state as much as possible on the Buddha day and learn whatever we can, yeah, about this enlightenment which came about, yeah, on that very very special day. So today, as in the tradition of Nalanda Buddhist Society, we have embarked on this theme, and this theme will be our guide, our spiritual compass, yeah, for the next few weeks. Because after we celebrate Buddha Day, we go into the period that we call Gimmana. It is a kind of a spiritual retreat, and we invite dear Dhamma brothers and sisters to be part of the Gimmana, yeah, where we train ourselves, we remember the teachings, and we train ourselves, yeah, to be worthy disciples, yeah, of the Buddha. So here we have the theme, leading a life of wisdom and compassion. And the ND word has disappeared behind the feet of the bird. One of the just now, sister mentioned my late teacher, Venerable K. Sri Dhammananda, whom we call Chief. Yeah, one of the great lessons that I learned under late Chief was this analogy, yeah, that comes to mind because the late chief always used to remind us that in order to fly, like this bird, this is a heron. In order to fly like this bird, and this heron flies long distances. Sometimes they migrate across the different countries. In order to fly high and in order to fly far, you need two wings. And late chief always said these two wings for a Buddhist, who wants to practice the Buddha's teachings, the two wings are wisdom and compassion. You need these two wings because with one wing, just wisdom, you cannot fly. Yeah. With the other wing, just compassion, you really cannot migrate, from country to country, to find warmer weather. That's what these birds do. They fly great distances, in order to escape the cold weather. So that's the reason why we have adopted this theme, leading a life of wisdom and compassion. And so today, what I hope to do is to explain what are these two great qualities. What is the great connection between wisdom and compassion, and how we can bring it into our lives, so that we can practice it. We understand and we practice it, very, very committedly. So these are the two wings, as I have mentioned, wisdom and compassion. So we look at how wisdom leads to compassion and how compassion deepens our wisdom, as well. All of us have these two qualities. Look into your heart. You are brought here this morning to wisdom. You're here because something, there is this quality in your minds that says today is a very special day. And how do I mark today? How do I celebrate it? Do I just want to, celebrate it by going from temple to temple or from Buddhist center to Buddhist center? That is one way of celebrating. But we can take it upon ourselves to quieten the mind so that it can develop, so that wisdom can take a stronger hold in our minds. The teachings of the Buddha is built upon wisdom. If there is no wisdom, there is, my dear brothers and sisters, there is no noble eightfold path. So with wisdom, we see the Four Noble Truths and we walk the Noble Eightfold Path. So that's why this quality of wisdom is so important. Everything, which we know as the Buddha's teachings is built upon it. It is our foundation. Every building, even this building here, that now we sit here and enjoy the environment, the air conditioning, the brightness of this environment. Every building must have its foundations. And the Buddha's teaching is built around wisdom. And when we apply that wisdom, we use the wisdom to see. When we open our eyes with wisdom, there is only the quality of compassion. Because when we look around us, we cannot escape bringing compassion, into our hearts. And why is that? We'll discuss that. We'll see it, as we go along. So sit comfortably, my dear Dhamma brothers and sisters. Bring your attention to this moment. Be here with us. Don't let your mind run and be in other places, and other times. Sit with us. Be with us. So that we can learn the Buddha's teachings, in a very meaningful way. Firstly, there is this very, very important teaching. Everything arises due to a cause. Everything has its cause and condition. Yeah. This is already, yeah, development of wisdom. We are here because we have the cause to be here. And this morning, what is the cause of you being here? It is the thought, yeah, I must go to Nalanda, yeah, to celebrate, to uh, to be joyous with other Buddhists, yeah, on this Buddha Day. So that's the cause. There was a thought. Do you remember when that thought appeared in your mind? Were you aware of this thought? Yeah, when you are aware of how our thoughts direct our lives, we become wiser. Yeah. The decisions that we make, the emotions that guide us, the feelings, yeah, or they are pleasant and unpleasant and neutral that guides us. If you are aware of it, it is a cause, it is caused by wisdom. So be aware of the thoughts. Later on, yeah, as I go on speaking, yeah, we will be aware of the need for lunch. Very important. So the thought that we must have lunch is, what's the cause? We get this feeling. Something is very empty around here. I must have, I must look for food. That's the cause. If you don't feel hungry at all, there is no cause for lunch. And we don't have to prepare lunch for everyone. But because during the midday period, the time, we feel hungry, we need um, refreshment. That's the cause that takes us, yeah, down to look for lunch. So everything that happens in our life, there must be a cause. When we are happy, there's a cause. When we are unhappy, yeah, and um, held, yeah, in the grasp of suffering, there is also a cause. So don't just think I'm suffering, or I am happy, I'm happy. Step back one step or two steps, yeah, and look for the cause of that state of your mind. So it is, as I said, it is important for us to understand the cause or causes of a condition so that we can either achieve something very worthwhile or we can avoid something that contributes to our pain and suffering. So as I said, here is a way to understand it. When we look for well-being or happiness, there is a cause for it. When we look for happiness in the wrong way, the other side, ill-being, this is a term very much used by the teacher, the late teacher, Venerable Thich Nhat Hanh. He was a Zen master. He used this word very, very often. Ill-being, yeah, is the opposite of well-being. But we can give it a very simple term, suffering. Ill-being is suffering. So when we don't understand the right causes of well-being, we might see wrongly, ignorantly, yeah, that we pick this cause of ill-being and we end up having more suffering. So what is the discernment factor? What makes us see what is really well-being and what is really ill-being? We must go back again to the factor of wisdom. It is wisdom that tells us this is not going to go well, or this is going to end happily and joyously for you. That's another cause. The cause of why we come here, if we look at the foundation, is wisdom. We have wisdom. Yeah, wisdom brings us here. Wisdom makes us gather. Wisdom opens our mind to study and to practice. Yeah, on this Buddha day. So be very glad of the wisdom that we have, but we have to develop that wisdom more and more. So today, this morning, as we discuss wisdom and compassion, I will try to persuade you to see that if you have wisdom, compassion is inevitable. You cannot avoid it. You have come here with wisdom. Now look at it more deeply that when you awaken, when you use that wisdom, when it appears in your mind, you have no choice. You will have compassion appear, yeah, due to that wisdom. It is the cause, yeah, of compassion. So, yeah, we are surrounded. When we look around us in the world, we are surrounded by so much suffering, by so much ill being. There are people who, because of war, fighting, aggression, anger, not allowing the other person to be peaceful, suffering takes place. And there's also the natural causes of suffering. There's earthquake, there's tsunami, yeah, there is volcanoes spewing their hot molten lava, yeah, at people. That is also suffering. There is suffering created by human beings. There's suffering that comes about naturally. No one called for it, yeah, but it also appears. So there is natural suffering, yeah, natural causes, and there is suffering that human beings bring to each other. So that kind of suffering, the suffering that we cause, and yes, it's true, we cause suffering to each other because of our ignorance. Due to lack of wisdom, we make one another, yeah, even within the same family, even within the same community, even in the groups that you mix, of friends that you mix with, if we are not wise, we cause each other to suffer. And because others suffer, we also suffer. Yeah. It is happening. But sometimes we don't see it. Yeah. We always see it as the other person's fault. It just happens to us. And we don't understand what caused it. Now, with wisdom, we should be able to understand more deeply. So, what is wisdom? Allow me to offer my definition. From what I understand through my study and my practice, I see wisdom as understanding the nature of reality. We want to see what is real, what is here. We do not want to imagine. We do not want to simply conceptualize through our mind that this is the cause of our happiness and this is the cause of our suffering. We want to see it for ourselves. This wisdom can start with learning. You know, you come here, you learn, you listen to the speaker give the talk, you go back and you reflect upon it. That is one way to develop wisdom. But another way, more meaningful, yeah, more significant way of developing your wisdom is, dear brothers and sisters, see it for yourself. Not just see it with your eyes, see it with your wisdom eye. You know, whatever happens, that's why sit here and be here. Yeah. One of the great uh, Buddhist teachers from India, his name was Munindra. He wasn't a monk, yeah, but he was he taught many great Western teachers. He said, if you sit here and know you are sitting and examine this posture of sitting, yeah, wisdom will appear. So you don't have to do very much. Just, yeah, let your mind settle, yeah, on whatever you are looking at, yeah, and wisdom appears. So our spiritual journey starts off with wisdom. Yeah, as I said, wisdom causes us. It is the cause for us to walk the Noble Eightfold Path. So it is a type of knowing that frees the mind from suffering. Today we are going to look at suffering very closely. And the result of this elimination of suffering, yeah, is happiness. Because if we avoid looking at suffering, we can never really be happy. You know, I used to have this, I haven't seen him for many years. One of my friends, British person. Yeah. And you know, we used to work together, and when I visited him, he would take me for meals, you know, and travel. So one day, you know, I was in a spiritual mood. I asked him, "Hey, Peter, do you ever think about death?" I don't think about death at all. If death comes to me, and it surely will, I just want death to catch me and I collapse and I die. That's it. I don't think about about death so much. So I said, good luck, Peter. Yeah, good luck. If death catches you suddenly at that moment and you die, it's very good. But not all of us are so lucky, because sometimes we get afflicted with some kind of disease, some illness, and we suffer long period of time before we finally, yeah, become free of that. So I haven't seen him for many years. He's, I think, must be old now. So I'm not sure what is his condition, yeah, of this friend of mine. But we cannot be so ignorant of suffering. We look at suffering, we understand suffering. And the reason for that is we want to see it for what it actually is. What is this suffering? Yeah, where is the suffering? And how does the suffering take hold in my mind? You know, do you know when you are suffering? You know, I've come across people who, when you interact with them, you know, not just me, but a group of people, as we discuss, as we talk, I see some of them getting more and more angry because what the person is hearing is not what he likes. It doesn't agree with him, and he gets more and more angry. And then, you know, sometimes we ask him, oh, hey, why are you so angry? Yeah. And their reaction is, no, I'm not angry. And you can see the face getting darker and darker. But the person just doesn't know he is angry. Yeah. He doesn't even recognize the state of that suffering, the anger of suffering. So the wise mind, as I put there, yeah, experiences real happiness because he or she, that mind, understands suffering. By the way, it might interest you if you use your phone afterwards, not now, and type the happiest man in the world, you will find a Buddhist monk. Western science has decided through the research that uh, researchers from the University of Wisconsin and also the University of California, they have decided that they are Western researchers, by the way. They are scientists and doctors. They found, they decided, concluded that the happiest man in the world is a Buddhist monk. Yeah, they did this experiment on thousands of people. Yeah, and this man, this monk, who came down from the Himalayas, afterwards I'll introduce you to him. They stuck all the wires on him and measured his brain signals and asked him to go into, as what we did just now, practice metta. His metta was beyond the machine's measurement. So they said, okay, my machine cannot measure you anymore. Let's just call you the happiest man in the world. Because I have no way to measure you. Yeah, other people, I have experimented on, or this group of scientists experimented on, I can measure. But you are beyond my skill. Either I have a better machine, or easy way out is you are the happiest man in the world. So they chose the easy way out. They concluded that he was the happiest man in the world. Yeah. And when I introduce you to him, you can see what he really looks like. Everything starts with the Noble Eightfold Path, because these are the stages of training, and it's important. Here are all the factors of the Noble Eightfold Path. They are divided into three stages. The first one is wisdom. So there you are. The Buddha defines wisdom. The Buddha tells you, if you go to the Noble Eightfold Path, if you look at the first two factors, this is wisdom as I have defined it. So this is the Buddha's view, perspective of wisdom. That if you practice right understanding, samadhi in the Pali language, and sama, right thought or right intention, sama sankappa, yeah, these two factors constitute wisdom. And it's important because if you can hold on, yeah, to this thought, if you can follow this train of reasoning, you will arrive at why wisdom brings about compassion. So let me go a bit deeper. Yeah. The Buddha has said about the first factor, right view, yeah, samma ditti. In the Anguttara Nikaya, this sutta, the Buddha mentioned, he said to the bhikkhus, just as the dawn, this morning we had dawn, is the forerunner and precursor. Yeah, it just comes before it of the rising sun. Right view is the forerunner of all wholesome states. This right view will bring about, yeah, if you trust the Buddha and you study the teachings, the Buddha said, if you have right view, it will lead you, no doubt, it will lead you to wholesome states. And in those wholesome states of mind, you can only find happiness, freedom from suffering. This is the Buddha's teachings. So in the Anguttara Nikaya, this sutta, yeah, if you take it down, you can find it. So what is right view? Firstly, right view, the most straightforward explanation of right view is the true understanding of the Four Noble Truths. So the teachings start with the Four Noble Truths, and it goes into the Noble Eightfold Path as if you can understand Four Noble Truths, the first factor of right view encompasses, is composed of the understanding of the Four Noble Truths. And what are the Four Noble Truths? The first one is you cannot escape. It is all around us. There is dukkha. Dukkha is also a Malay word because it's a borrowed word from the ancient Pali Sanskrit, suffering. So you get a letter from the government dengan dukkha cita, yeah, is not good news. Yeah. You get a letter dengan sukacita, yes, you can be happy, you know. You might get some funds from the government, yeah, to relieve our suffering. The second one is the cause. What causes suffering? And the Buddha explained it. It is due to our craving, our attachment. And the Buddha said there is a way out, and he presents to us, he describes, yeah, the end of suffering. And the way to end suffering is walk the Noble Eightfold Path. So everything, yeah, is systematic in the Buddha's teachings. But we have to do it. We have to apply it. We cannot just listen to it. So, Four Noble Truths, what does the Buddha expect us to do? Yeah, the first one is, yeah, when it comes to the noble truth of dukkha, suffering, the Buddha expects us to understand it. Number two, the cause of suffering. The Buddha expects us to overcome the cause of suffering. Nirodha, the end of suffering. The Buddha expects us, yeah, together with the teaching, together with the theory. Yeah, the application is you have to realize it, go for it, achieve it, the end of suffering. He doesn't say there is just the end of suffering and just learn about it and every now and then take out the notes and read the notes. Yeah. That's not enough. The Buddha said, practically, you can achieve it. Yeah, practice to end your suffering. And what do we practice? The Buddha said, Magga, yeah, the Noble Eightfold Path is the way to end suffering. So if people ask you, if people ask, you're a Buddhist, what do you practice? Your answer should be, I practice the Noble Eightfold Path. That's it. Very, very simple and straightforward. So we now come from the first of the path factors, which is right view, yeah, or right understanding, to the second one, which is right thought or right intention. I would like to introduce not just right intention, but I think we need to talk about wrong intention, because it is wrong intention that gives us all this heartache and suffering that we experience in this world. So what is the cause? If you are unhappy, if you say your life is difficult, yeah, these three things are there because they cause your suffering. They cause my suffering. You cannot have suffering without these causes. The Buddha is very clear on that. And the wrong intentions are, number one, there is greed. You want things too much. There is ill will. There is anger at people. Yeah, we complain about this, complain about that. This is the de facto setting of our mind. Yeah, our mind loves to complain. And why does it complain? Ill will. I don't like this. So complain. Keep on. This one no good, that one no good. It's too hot, it's too cold. Yeah. Not enough aircon, is too strong. So we keep on complaining. That's ill will. And from ill will, we want to cause harm to people. I don't like it. Yeah. And if you have the energy, I don't like what this person says. Yeah. You just want to make the person shut up, quiet, through harming the person. This gives rise to suffering. It is the cause of suffering. So when these are removed, we progress on the path. Without right view, we do not know this. So right view is recognize it, that we have the greed, the ill will, and the intention to harm. Okay? So these are the wrong intentions. And the Buddha said, yeah, when he explained it, the wrong thoughts or wrong intentions are, a right thought and right intention is you develop the way to manage the greed. Managing the greed means you don't allow it to control you in such a way that there is nothing you can do about it. Yeah. Then freedom from greed, freedom from ill will, and freedom from harming people. This is called right intention. So when we come and listen, and when we practice, we observe the precepts, we develop mindfulness, the greed, the ill will, and the intention to harm goes down. And when it goes down, when it is under our control, other states of mind appear. Yeah. Because when there is non-greed, we have this state of renunciation. When there is no ill will, we have this state of goodwill towards others. So the mind is, the way that we develop our mind is take charge of the unwholesome thought. And when those unwholesome tendencies are managed, good tendencies, good thoughts, good feelings, good emotions will take its place. But first of all, we have to take care of the unwholesome ones. And lastly, there is no harming, there is harmlessness. We don't want to harm anything. Even when mosquitoes land on you, yeah, you try your best not to pop the mosquito. So I have, through the course, I mean, I talk about 5 precepts a lot. Yeah, and people come to me and say, brother, it's very difficult. Yeah, when mosquitoes land on me, my automatic reaction is to crush the fellow. Yeah. So now when I have learned about the 5 precepts, my life not easy. Last time very easy. Mosquito come finish. Now when I remember what you said, oh, life becomes a challenge. Yeah. But what happens is there is a period of training. After that, it becomes natural. When I traveled in India, I stayed with Tibetan in the Tibetan hostel for a short while. And when I talk to them, I learn something from them that helps me to, understand the the management of this tendency. The Tibetans will not shoo when mosquitoes land on them, on their arms, on their body. They do not shoo the mosquito away. They let the mosquito drink the blood. And yeah, very strangely, that's why I said beginning is not easy. But they develop this way of thinking. And this way of thinking is like this. They allow the mosquito to drink the blood. And they renounce their feelings of aversion. So they say, this life, I give you blood. I give you health. I give you strength. To the mosquito. Yeah, because mosquito connected to them. You drink my blood, you are connected to me. And the next one is even more wonderful. They said, next life, now we are karmically, we are linked. Next life, I give you Dhamma. You see, you take my blood now, now we are connected. Next life, if I meet you again, if I have the means, I will give you Dhamma. So can you think like that? Right? And not decide to kill all these insects. So let me go on. I will very quickly just describe wisdom because we are quite short of time. So this is the nature of wisdom, the means, where you can cultivate it. What is the function of wisdom is it liberates the mind from unhappiness. If we have no wisdom, we cannot liberate the mind. If we develop wisdom, the hallmark, the way to recognize a wise mind is that person is happy, less suffering. And lastly, the result of wisdom is freedom from nibbana. So when we can see the suffering, when we look around and we develop wisdom to recognize suffering, there can be no other result but compassion. Your suffering is like my suffering. I also suffer like you. I am not different from you. You suffer like me. Therefore, compassion arises naturally. Okay? So Venerable Master Thich Nhat Hanh had this to explain. I'll go through it. He says, when another person makes you suffer, and this is how you understand the nature of suffering. When another person makes you suffer, it's because that person is also suffering. If you don't suffer so much, you don't make others suffer. You don't scold them. You don't tell them very, very hurtful things. But if you are in peace, if you are happy, you make others also happy. right? So what is compassion? Yeah. And this is important. So I put in some Chinese words to be more clear, because this quality of compassion can be easily misunderstood. Compassion is not grief. It is not just wanting to cry. Compassion is, if you can examine your mind, compassion is happiness. It is seeing suffering and understanding that suffering with wisdom. And because of that, happiness. Can understand or not? If we don't have wisdom, we are caught by grief. Please excuse me, I can't pronounce the word. Yeah. Sorrow and pity. When we have grief, sorrow, and pity, we have no wisdom. We see other people suffering. What do? We start to cry. We get affected. Oh, crying, suffering. We don't want to see. That is not compassion. Compassion is see already, I want to alleviate. What can I do? Tell me, what can I do to help you? That is compassion. When you go out, when you give your time, you give your energy so that people can develop seeing and wisdom, that is compassion. Yeah. Next, this is the nature of compassion. Yeah. Look at the function. It removes your self-centeredness. You're not so concerned with yourself. Why? Because